Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. I have a very important editorial for you. And this editorial deals with money. This editorial deals with our future. You see, the government during the pandemic, the Prime Minister of India, had offered the country 20 lakh crores as stimulus. He said 20 lakh crores will be offered to this country, 11% of the GDP will be offered to this country for this country to resurrect. For MSMEs, vendors, middle class to come back and to ensure that the economy bounces back. Now, there was a RTI filed by a gentleman called Shri Prafful Sarda. We have his interview in HW Marathi. Do watch it. I'm going to attach the link for people who understand Marathi, but otherwise I'll explain to you what happens. So, Mr. Prafful Sarda had filed this RTI report, and according to the RTI report, RTI reply that he received, what we understand is that the government, which claimed that they will spend 20 lakh crore rupees as stimulus, has only sanctioned 3 lakh crores under the Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Schemes, or as they call it, ECLGS. Only 3 lakh crores has been sanctioned, and out of this 3 lakh crores that was sanctioned, only 1.5 lakh crore approximately has been spent. This is what the RTI report says. Now, I will give you a brief on how this money, this 20 lakh crore, was planned to be rolled out, planned to be given to the people. According to Nirmala Sitharaman, on the 17th of May 2020, she had worked out a 5-tranche plan to roll out this 20 lakh crore to the people. The first tranche was supposed to be 5,94,550 crore, which was supposed to be rolled out to predominantly MSMEs, small and medium-sized companies, which almost gives employment to 11 crore people of this country. The next tranche was supposed to be 3,10,000 crore, which was supposed to be focused on street vendors and migrant workers to ensure that they are back on their foot. The third tranche was supposed to be focused on agricultural sectors, including animal husbandry, fisheries, etc. And this amount was 1,50,000 crores. The fourth and the fifth was supposed to be for coal sectors, mineral sectors, defense production, so on and so forth. And this amount was 48,100 crores. Under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Kalyan package, they had announced 1,92,000 crores. Under the RBI measures, they had sanctioned 8,01,603 crores, which made a total of 20,97,053 crores. This was how the finance minister had announced her package. The government says, no, we have spent not 20, but we have spent more than 20 lakh crores. We have spent almost 28 lakh crores. So now let's figure out what is the reality. Let's find out what exactly happened. So this is beyond my pay grade. So I thought I will call it Akhilesh and ask Akhilesh to explain to us what exactly and how exactly the government has doled out this money, if at all it has. And if it has not, then finally who's going to pay the bill? Let's get right into the show. Akhilesh, I was just discussing with our viewers. The government had promised 20 lakh crores as stimulus package during the pandemic. Now, according to a RTI report filed by Shri Prafful Sarda, whose interview also we have in our channel, the government tells him that out of the 20 lakh crore which they had promised, 3 lakh crores was sanctioned. And out of this 3 lakh crores, something like 1.5 lakh crores was actually disbursed. Akhilesh, explain to me, how can the government promise something and deliver something else?
That happens all the time. Moody's is on record saying the real problems with the Indian governance is delivery. Anyway, we come to what you spoke to, Sujit. I just wanted to make a few things clear. When we talk about a fiscal stimulus, we are talking about the government spending more than what is already there in the budget or in any other programs of the government. Okay, so a fiscal stimulus is not part of the regular budgeted spending, but something more because there's an economic crisis in the country. Now, the government has, according to the government's various announcements that got made from time to time, the total amount of fiscal stimulus spending with the government claims is about 29 lakh crores, not even 20 lakh crores. But if you look at the entire breakup, as you pointed out, about 3.5, 4 lakh crores is what is the additional spending. And that was actually primarily the gun being fired from the shoulders of the banks. And that is why you're referring to this emergency lending scheme, wherein the government said, let banks give money to the borrowers and we will guarantee the money. That amount is about 3 lakh crores. And from this RTI activist response that came from the government, just about 1 lakh 15,000 crores has been spent so far. The last date for the scheme to get over was 31st October. I think they've extended it after that. So against
Akhilesh,
3 lakh crores, only 1 lakh 15,000 crores spent as per the RTI activist reply received.
so Akhilesh, tell me, uh, 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 actually, how much has the government spent? Actually, calculating everything in terms of stimuli, in terms of helping the people during the pandemic.
Right. So while I wouldn't be able to comment what has been actually spent because we keep getting conflicting figures, let's go by what the government said it would spend. And that is just about 2% of India's GDP, which is about 4 lakh crores. So the rest of the amount is actually either part of the already budgeted amounts or it is we will spend down the line. So the real delivery on the ground in terms of spending was not more than 4 lakh crores, even though the government claims that the stimulus package was about 28, 29 lakh crores.
Okay, so Akhilesh, let me understand this and tell me if I'm thinking right. You anyway as a country spend 20 lakh crores every year. Now,
Much
what
more,
happens?
much more.
A stimulus is supposed to be additional to the 20 lakh crore that you spend. That is what you call a stimulus.
Absolutely.
So it should have been 20 lakh crore which you anyway spend and 20 lakh crore which is additional. Now here, what has technically happened
Yes.
is that you have taken the 20 lakh crore itself which you otherwise also spent as stimulus and you spend according to you an additional 4 lakh of rupees. And according to the RTI report, technically speaking, sanctioned 3 lakh rupees, but spent 1.5 lakh crore rupees. Sorry. So this is
Yes.
how
So
it.
the additional budgeted expenditure remains as it is, but it has been repackaged to be called as stimulus spending primarily.
Finally, where is this money going to come? Who is going to fill the deficit?
So, Sujit, eminent economists like C. Rangarajan, who was the former RBI governor, former finance commission chairman, he's first of all on record saying that this COVID crisis, economic crisis, is akin to a war-like situation. And he says in war, there are no principles of finance. In other words, you have to somehow spend. You cannot try to say, oh, I'm mindful of my fiscal deficit, so I will not borrow and spend, etc. So the point is, additional resources had to be gathered in order to do the spending. The government has not really done that because it is very mindful of its fiscal deficit, because we think that the government might be very sensitive about India's credit rating going down in case its fiscal deficit zooms beyond the point. So the government has not made any extra efforts to garner the additional resources in order to spend more.
Where will this money come from, if I may ask?
Sujit, it is like this, that in case the government just doesn't put in the effort and the ball has to be in the government's court, because in such a situation where confidence is missing, somebody has to spend to kickstart the economy, and
Correct.
that somebody has to be the government of India. Now, in case the government of India does not do that, the private sector certainly is not going to do it, and the private sector does not have the kind of ability to raise resources that the government of India has. And if that is not done, that is, resources are not put in, you're going to see more collapses and closures of entities which needed money to survive, which were viable, but which were not funded by the government. If you see a case like the US and UK, for example, the government has been delivering money in the bank accounts of those companies only to ensure that they survive, jobs are not lost, so that when normal time comes, you're not seeing an aggravated crisis. We have not done that.
Akhilesh, let me talk about Indian middle class. Indian middle class that has been supporting this government, Indian middle class that has stood by this government, and Indian middle class which is a huge number. What has Indian middle class, especially the urban Indian middle class, what has Indian middle class actually got out of this entire package? And I think, how is the Indian middle class going to be resurrected?
You see, India as a country has got an India and has got a Bharat. Bharat is our rural economy and India is the urban economy. In my analysis, all those few lakh crores which were pronounced were primarily centered around Bharat and not India. The urban economy has not been supported, first of all. Second of all, the urban economy, for want of support, has certainly been withering. Unemployment continues to rise. And what the government doesn't have or does not wish to talk about is data related to the informal economy, which is primarily located in the urban centers. That economy, the informal economy, the MSME economy, has been suffering big time, Sujit, because they have not got any stimulus or support to give them support.
Akhilesh, according to the finance minister, Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, she was supposed to pay 5,94,550 crores to the MSME and in trench 1, and in the second trench, she was supposed to pay 3,10,000 rupees to migrant workers and street vendors, which is your informal economy. None of these monies have come, have they?
I haven't seen it being translated at the ground level. We as consultants are in touch with the ground level on a daily basis, and we haven't seen anything of that really come down to the ground level in India. That is the urban part of the country. As far as the rural part of the country is concerned, which is Bharat, I wouldn't be able to tell you for sure that delivery has taken place. But the urban part of the country, which is where our operations or locations are, I haven't seen it getting translated at the ground level, Sujit. I've seen more of business closures. I've been seeing more of companies being in a strife. I've not seen any relief really come to say, yes, I've seen delivery take place.
Who is going to take the brunt of this pandemic?
You know, Sujit, we have always been saying very often that a recovery, whenever it happens, is going to be what they call a K-shaped recovery and not a V-shaped as the government will want to talk. A V-shaped recovery is you had a sharp dip and you have a sharp uptick. That's a V-shape. A K-shaped recovery is where one sector recovers, the other doesn't. One becomes bigger, the other doesn't. One starts getting a normal time and the other continues to suffer. So we are seeing that K-shape taking place, growth or chances of a faster recovery for the big sector, for the big enterprises, for the big companies, and the lower dip or the lower part of the K taking place for the informal and the MSME sector. So you will have growth, recovery taking place as far as the big sector is concerned. As far as the smaller one is concerned, let's see how many survive, how many get out of it, and then what is the kind of situation such that demand comes for that sector and they also experience some kind of a revival of growth. That's what we are going to witness, Sujit.
So finally, what is going to happen to the Indian middle class, Akhilesh?
The
What
Indian
is their
middle
future?
suffering, household savings are already dipping. The household assets, primarily the real estate, which was one of the key components of the Indian middle class, that has taken a big hit. At the moment, there's some kind of a euphoria in the stock market where people think their wealth has risen. It is not really touching the middle class again. Their fixed deposits, which used to give them some kind of a relief, their interest rates have gone down. So the fortunes of the middle class have certainly dipped, Sujit. They say that it is dipping. If it continues to dip this way, then India, which is considered to be a low middle income country, will slip even further. So the middle class will take a big brunt.
So that was Akhilesh for you. Now, like he rightly said, the brunt of it is going to be taken by the middle class. The middle class, as always in India, the urban middle class especially, takes the maximum brunt. Same is going to happen now. Chalo, that is one. I have one more question. Now, the question is about the timing of Farm Bill.
को इसका स्पष्टीकरण देना चाहता हूं। हमारी 8 तारीख शाम को जो मीटिंग हुई थी माननीय अमित शाह से जो मीटिंग हुई थी, उसमें मैंने ये क्वेश्चन किया था कि अमित शाह जी, आप ये बताइए कि आप 23 फसलों का एमएसपी तय करते हैं, क्या आप 23 की 23 फसलें आप पूरे देश से एमएसपी पे खरीदने के लिए तैयार हो? उन्होंने क्लियर जवाब दिया था कि नहीं खरीद सकते। 17 लाख करोड़ रुपया बनता है, हम नहीं खरीद सकते। बिल्कुल क्लियर उन्होंने जवाब दिया। मैंने उनको ये भी आगे से जवाब दिया कि 17 लाख करोड़ तो कुल कीमत है, आप जो बेचोगे वो बेचोगे भी तो आपको 2 लाख का घाटा होगा, 3 लाख करोड़ का घाटा होगा, इतना तो आप बर्दाश्त कर सकते हैं। लेकिन उन्होंने साफ तौर पे मना किया है।
We know that the Home Minister himself said that, the cost of supporting the MSP is around 17 lakh crores. And if once you sell the product produced to the consumer, you recover out of 17 lakh crores, maybe 14 lakh crores or 15 lakh crores. But still the loss is around 3 to 4 crores. 3 to 4 lakh crores, my apologies. So the government couldn't afford that 3 to 4 lakh crores. So now I question, was the farm bill bought in now and in such a haste, was the farm bill passed in such a haste purely because the government couldn't afford the MSP? So now the question is, was the farm bill because of the government's coffers or because it would benefit the farmers? Think about it. Namaskar. When we started HW News Network, there is one thing we promised ourselves, that we will keep our news free. Because we believe that the right to know is the right of every Indian. And we continue to keep our channel free. But as you know, to run a channel, we require money, and for which we have come in front of you. Now, we are starting a membership scheme. Membership scheme, mind you, is purely voluntary. Our channel will run as is, absolutely free of cost. The programs that you see currently, the programs that you saw yesterday, the programs that you are used to seeing till now will run as the way it is and absolutely free. But we require supporters for our channel.
First level is a basic level. Here you can be our supporter by paying rupees 199 per month. This membership gives you certain perks and benefits. The perks include unique badges in front of your name, a live show from Mr. Sujit Nair and from Mr. Akhilesh Bhargava per month for our members. You can also vote in some exclusive members-only polls. Now the second level is Super Supporter. Here you can be our Super Supporter by paying rupees 3,999 per month. This membership will include every perk that comes with basic level. Additionally, our Super Supporters can be a part of a WhatsApp group where we can have discussions and suggestions on various topics. The second perk includes a gift pack with our merchandise. And the third perk is a Google Meet with Mr. Sujit Nair, where you can join the meet and ask your questions to Mr. Nair face to face. Lastly, if you like, we would give a shout out to our super supporters in our programs.
But if you help us, it will help to serve you better. Till I meet you next time, Namaskar.